Let me bring in Joe Manchin, Democratic senator from West Virginia, and Mark Kirk, Republican senator from Illinois. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Mr. Manchin, thank you for coming on. How do you intend to vote on this temporary payroll tax?
Vote no. You know, it was funny today, Larry. Mark and I were having our bipartisan lunch. We happened to be talking. I said, you know, Mark, I can't support this as far as putting Social Security in jeopardy again, putting it $247 billion more in the hole. That's just not the right way to go. We need the Bowles-Simpson template and really do meaningful tax reform. He says, guess what? I'm not for mine either, because Republicans came out with a plan. So together we put our heads together. We're against both of them. So I'm going to vote no on one or two, whatever comes in front of me.
And Senator Kirk, do you intend to vote no on each? I guess one plan would bring the rate down to 3.1% for a year and then go back. And the other plan would bring it down to what? Keep it at 4.2%. Are you going to vote no on both?
I am. Here's the funding profile. Under both Republican and Democratic bills, Social Security takes a tremendous $250 billion hit. It takes through 2018, 2019 to pay for this party. This is revenue that the Social Security program absolutely depends on, with 10,000 Americans qualifying each year. This is a party which should not happen. We need this revenue to back Social Security.
Senator Manchin, does anybody care about what Mark Kirk just said? The fact of the matter is we've blown a hole in Social Security. There's supposed to be dedicated revenues. It's like all of a sudden we forgot about all the entitlements, but in this case, Social Security. Is that part of the debate?
Larry, we're making it part of the debate, Mark and I, and there's a lot of responsible Democrats and Republicans on both sides, more moderate, centrist, understanding we have a tremendous financial burden. We don't want to be a part of a generation that turns over the keys to the next generation and leaves it in worse shape than we received it. I don't want to be a legacy as being the first to ever do that. We're determined to make sure it doesn't happen. And yes, we are concerned, and this is not a way to fix it. They're playing the blame game. I said I didn't come to Washington to blame people, to play games, to take names, and to keep count. That's not what it's about, and I'm not going to do it.
Senator Mark Kirk, can you and Mr. Manchin and others stop the bill? Can you stop the bill, turn it back?
It looks like we'll be in partisan gridlock, with some of the Republicans voting for the Republican bill, some of the Democrats for the Democrat bill, but no decisive majority on either side. And we now want to be centrist voices for fiscal conservatism, saying Social Security revenues should back this senior program. And where is AARP? AARP members should talk to their leadership and say that we need to keep Social Security revenues supporting this program, especially since this tax already doesn't raise enough to cover the program costs. That's why Congress shouldn't forgive the revenue any further.
Senator Manchin, you know, when President Obama's been out on the campaign trail promising $1,500 to everybody, wouldn't the president be better off being more honest and balanced and letting people understand how difficult it is from the standpoint of blowing a hole in Social Security, yet another entitlement problem?
I'm not going to suggest how the president should run his campaign, Larry, but I can tell you, most West Virginians that are working don't even know they're getting a break. Those that do said they would gladly forsake that. That would be their shared sacrifice. If we would just have meaningful tax reform, get our financial house back in order. Not one business person told me that they will hire anybody by having a temporary tax break of 3% for 1 year. They won't do it. That's not any certainty. So, you know, we got to get real with this. And we're just saying, let's get back and take the Bowles-Simpson, which is a bipartisan. It started bipartisan 1 year ago today. It's still growing in support bipartisan, but we have no leadership, Democrat or Republican leadership, embracing it, trying to make a permanent fix to a problem that we have. That's all we're asking for. Common sense solution. Let's work it out.
Senator Kirk gave you the last word on Bowles-Simpson. It's very interesting. Mr. Manchin raised that. You have the gang of 6 or the gang of 100. You've got a year until the automatic spending cuts from the so-called super committee kick in. Is there hope for long-run entitlement reform and long-run tax reform as per Bowles-Simpson? Is that hope still alive?
It is more likely in 2013 rather than 2012. But I agree that the tax reform, for example, in Bowles-Simpson, wiping out all the lobbyist loopholes and then dropping the top rate from 39 to 29, you generate $2 trillion in revenue, $1 trillion to lower the deficit, $1 trillion to lower the rates. By far better for the economy than anything being discussed up here or the gimmick bills like which will be debated in the Senate.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you ever so much. Senator Joe Manchin, West Virginia, Mark Kirk of Illinois. I appreciate it. Let's bring